All right, polish shining. One thing I just realized I didn't cover in the last video was what we needed the toothbrush for, and I'll just go over that really quickly before we get going. So, similar idea to the brush shining, the applicator brush. We treat our toothbrush like an applicator brush. We put just a little bit on, just so there's a little bit of polish on the bristles, and then we go into the thread of the boot and we apply the polish in there. So we start in here at the toe. I like to start at the toe all the time. It's a good way to be consistent. And you just go all the ways around and just fill the gaps. And then when we do our brush shine, we brush all that out the same kind of way. So here's my brush. And that's that. And you just brush it out, and then that's enough to just, again, fill some gaps, make it look a little bit shinier. You can spend a lot of time going over this stuff. We're gonna get into polish shining now. So that's our next step, or step 4. It's the polish shine. So polish shining, after you have your 30 layers built over a month, this is when you start your polish shining. It's at this point, if you've been doing steady 1 or 2 coats a night over a month, you'll notice that your treads will start to get filled with little bits of polish and whatnot. It'll become smoother and smoother. That's okay. One of the tricks that we have to keeping, or before we get into shining the toe cap or anything like this, to keeping a really, really highly shone thread or tread, however you want to call them, on the front of the boot, is to use nail polish. This is one of the alternate techniques. You do not have to do this, but this takes a lot of intricate detail to be able to do properly, okay? So if you have any questions about this, also, please let me know before you do it and mess your boots up. I'll show you exactly how to do it. It's an extremely low maintenance way to do it, but all it is essentially you take the nail polish brush and you very carefully go in there and you fill the top of the tread with that nail polish very, very lightly, not getting any on the leather itself, just on the thread on the front. You can also do that to the rubber on the front, or the front of your woods, I should say. It should be wood. If not, you probably have rubber. You can do it on that as well. But again, very light layers. You don't want that stuff to peel, but that being said, if you want that really, really high gloss on there, you can apply it on there. Just do not get any on the leather, only get it on the wood, okay? So that being said, you get it on the wood, and it's just, it's nail polish. It's a brush on a stick. Smear it on there very lightly again, and let it air dry, and that'll be that. So the reason why we do the nail polish first, if you are going to do it before you start doing your polish coats, is it's easier to mask. If you make a slight error, it's easier to mask with your polish coats afterwards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into doing the high gloss polish, the polish shining. So things that we need for this: you need kiwi cloth, you need your kiwi wax or polish, and you need the lid of your kiwi polish. And that being said, the reason you need the lid is because you need to get a little bit of room temperature water into it, which I haven't done yet, and I'm actually going to go do that right now. So I'm going to cut, and then I'll be right back. All right, so I've gone and I've got some water, and you don't need much. This is how much I have. Oh, that's terrible lighting. It's not very much. This is actually a bit much for what I would normally do, but it will certainly do the job. When we're done, we're gonna dump that water away, anything that's left over, and we have to make sure that we dry that lid, because if that lid is not dry, it'll ruin all the polish in your polish container, and that's no bueno. So let's get into polish shining. So first step to polish shining is 2 fingers. All I'm going to do is put it inside my kiwi cloth on a new spot, as you can see here, a new spot that doesn't have any of these dots on it. All right, pull it tight, give it a twist, a couple of twists, then stick it in the back. Okay, so I have my fingers in here, I have the twists, and then I pinch it with my thumb. And then what I want to do is take my polish container, go through it, again, probably 1 lap, maybe half a lap. Just like that. That's just about enough. It's probably a bit much, but it's okay, I can make it work. Experience. So then what I want to do is I want to take that, and it's the same theory as what we've done with brush shining, okay? This now becomes our applicator, and our fingers and the kiwi cloth is much smoother than our brush, so we're going to get a much finer result. So all I do is I take my fingers, just make tiny little swirls, happy little swirls, all over the toe of the boot. And again, this is just the toe that I'm showing you how to do. It's the same theory for the sides, it's the same theory for the heel, it's the same theory everywhere else. It is just smearing the polish around evenly. So I want to go all over this first part of leather. Happy little swirls. Covering absolutely everything. I should probably get some new polish soon. This one's starting to feel a little sticky, but that's okay. If you happen to pick up a flake at this point in time, don't worry about it so much. Keep going, keep swirling around. You can take if you have a blade or something like this, you can very, very carefully pull it, pry it off. You don't want to gouge in and dig into the leather. You don't want to gouge into your already existing polish, but you're just using that very, very fine edge to just pull the flake off. You can also brush the flake out. It's a little bit more difficult, but that's how she goes. So, all over until it's just kind of like a gray. It's just kind of like, take a little bit more for the tongue. Until it's just that dull gray, unpolished look all over. Like so. So it's all nice and dull. Okay, now what we're gonna do, keeping this finger nice and tight, just gonna take a little dab of that water. So I just come in here, just a little bit. You don't want to drown it, just get a little bit of dampness on the cloth. You can always go back for more later if you need more. Now what this is gonna do is this is gonna help you push that polish around. So now that it's a little bit wet, I do the same thing. Go around, happy little swirls. And now it's much easier and much less sticky to push around. And just go round and round in circles. My circles are a little bit big right now, but that's okay. Mostly because I'm early stages of polishing boots. If I've just finished my 3 stages, or 30 stages I should say, of brush shine, this is fine. Just going around. Now I'm getting a little bit dry. I'm just gonna go and grab a little bit more. Dab a little water and shine her up. While you're doing this, make sure you get into the cracks, get into all the crevices, and it'll really really start to bring that shine out. So as you can see, that's much shinier than it was before. Still is a little bit gray. It's because I'm getting a little bit dry. Just a little dab. Shake off the excess. The excess, I should say. And keep going. Okay? And that's essentially it. You just keep going around in circles, watching TV, watching your Netflix, your Amazon Prime Video, whatever it is, Disney Plus, whatever you want to watch. Watch something. Just go around in circles. Okay. So that's just a very rough kiwi polish, all right? As you can see, it's pretty shiny already, and this is probably far better than what you guys have right now. At the beginning, I should say, of your stock boots. So this is already far better and will get you some good looks on parades, but we can do a lot better than this. After this, you want to do a bunch more of this kind of shining. And again, we want to do the same theory as with our brush shining. We're building layers, okay? So we've built 30 layers of brush shine underneath. That gives us the depth of our shine. And now what we're doing is when we're doing this, we're kind of shaping it, we're giving it a nice refined look. So we probably want to get about 10, 15, maybe 20 coats of this polish shining done after we've done all that before we start hitting parades. So again, probably 1 to 2 a day at the very most. 1 to 2 coats a day should be more than enough to be able to get your shine up. So that being said, don't rush the process. Make sure you take your time. If you take your time, you're gonna have a better result in the end. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So I would, again, keep going through this process time and time again, day after day after day, and eventually you arrive at a very, very highly polished boot. So that being said, this is the last one. I'll show you right quickly while we're here what the web text looks like. So again, this is what it looks like. Okay. And on the inside, let's see if this is my good one. This is not my good one. I'll get my good one. It's really stinky. It's really oily. So the difference between this and the kiwi is the kiwi has less oil in it. This one has, the Webtex has far more oil in it. Okay. There we go. That's a good cake. Okay, so you can already see side by side. One's much shinier than the other one. And you'll be able to tell when you look at it, it's just much goopier and much oilier. Much more oily. And so, when we apply the Webtex, we're going to do the same thing. We want to find a new spot on the cloth first, though. So, we find ourselves a new spot, a new blank spot. Right here, that'll be good enough. Give it a couple twists. Pinch it with the thumb. Oops. Pinch it with the thumb. Grab our container. Take a little swipe. About that much is, pardon me, more than enough. Also, there's no need to go to town if you do buy this Webtex stuff online. It's like I've had that tin for years now, and I've used very little of it. It's an excellent product, will last you a long time. So there's no need to go buy like 2 or 3 of them, you just need the one. But maybe see if someone else wants some, and then you can go and put a bulk order in. Maybe we'll see if we can get a bulk order in done through the Kit Shop or something like that. Anywho, so come to my boot. Got my Webtex on here, and just go around, same thing, happy little circles. and you should be able to feel the difference between the WebTex and the Kiwi already. It's much more smooth, it's much more slick, it smears a lot nicer. Just get it everywhere. And again, this is a finish coat, okay? So once you finish this is the last layer you put on your boots. After a while, when you start doing layers of Kiwi and then layers of WebTex, if you choose to buy it, then you will start getting a deeper and deeper shine. Something about the way that it layers with Kiwi, I don't know what it is, but it just makes it really nice. So, oh, and the proportions for that is maintenance after this point, you do 2 layers of Kiwi to 1 layer of WebTex. And that will really give you a really deep and nice shine. So, dip a little bit in the water and just smear. Happy little circles. A little bit of water. And just keep going round and round and round. Now, many of you have probably heard of burn shining. Some people know how to do it really well. Do not burn shine with WebTex because it's so much more oily, your boots will catch fire, and that will not end well. So do not burn it. It will also end very poorly for your boots because your boots, even if you don't catch your boots on fire, they will just look terrible. It will burn all of the oils out of it, it'll dry up, it'll flake out, and it'll become very obvious where you applied extensive heat to it. But if you must heat shine, and if you're not getting quite the shine out of it that you like, a way I've found to get around it has been to breathe on it. Breathing on it applies just enough heat and adds moisture, so it actually brings the shine way out. So I'm going to come in here. I'm just about done smearing this guy around for now, for the sake of this video. Don't want to make it too long. And so I've still got a couple marks in here, but it's way shinier already. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to breathe on it and then keep smearing. Instead of applying water and water and water, just breathe on it. So here we go. Again, and it just brings it right to life. And I'll show you this in a second because it already looks fantastic. Oops. And that should be the last one I need to do. All right. So you can see that. You could probably see my phone in the reflection there. Yeah, you can. All right, that's a good shine. So that's a really simple, fast way to get a shine done, a really high quality shine. And again, this process goes for all over the boots, all over the boot, I should say. So with that being said, we're gonna cap off lesson number 4 here.